everybody, and welcome back to Wipeout. Man, we have a subtle one for you today, and we also have a new guest.
Hey there.
That's Blind Sally of the wonderful Killzone LP.
Yeah.
And Canadian Military Simulator.
That's the one.
Yep. So, this is PMAR Project, and as Hellfire of Wipeout Zone says, it's a subtle bastard. You can see all these lovely, relatively simple corners, and then you've got this trick chicane. It's not.
I did love the architecture we were going through just a moment ago. These lovely villas overlooking the racetrack.
Yeah, it's and then you got this chicane.
Beautiful cherry blossoms.
I know. This is one of the things I've always loved about Wipeout 3. And in fact, a lot of the Wipeout games from 3 onwards is they look great. They do a lot with the track. Too many racing games of the same period were literally just city blocks or Outrun style wilderness.
Yeah.
But
mind you, with Wipeout, they could have probably gotten away with just having flashing psychedelic colors as backgrounds. But
yeah, this is true.
They went to make the world so realized.
Actually, a fair bit later in the LP, we will actually see something like that, because there's the prototype tracks.
Right.
But yeah, thing is, PMAR's only a subtle bastard if you play it at its own game. And there are a couple of ways to get around various things. For example, abusing bouncing.
I've noticed that. Just hop wildly over corners and...
Yeah, if you're really good and you actually remember the hyper boost, unlike me, then you can actually hyper boost almost completely over this first jump chicane. So, I know, but this chicane, like I said, it's a trick chicane, because it looks like a really hard chicane, but you can actually go relatively straight through most of it.
I noticed that you weaved through it just a moment ago quite nicely.
Yeah, possibly the nicest I'll ever do that. Also of note is our current shields. This was actually my second attempt at the time trial before I got truly comfortable with the track. And imagine the first attempt as being like this, only the final lap was at 17 shields and I exploded halfway through.
Right.
It's the problem with an AGS. In not only are the shields weak, in time trial, well, I didn't have any footage from the failure, because an AGS failure is a long, drawn-out and slightly boring affair, actually.
Got to fast forward to the explosions.
Yeah. And when we get to rate,
the company is like, wonderful precision piece of machinery, and the driver's just bouncing it through the track, just manhandling it to get the fastest time.
AGS would not be happy with me. They were the original inventors of the anti-gravity craft, or rather the company to which Pierre Belmondo belonged.
Right, hence the AG in their name.
Yeah. Then they were bought out by a Japanese Abatsu corporation, and until the next game in the series, Fusion, the lore kind of drops off with them. It's a bit like, Kyrex has a little bit of extra lore for Wipeout 3, Oricom really doesn't. Obviously the new teams have their own backstories.
Right.
my personal favourite being Assegai, which is the Africans only team.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew the history of any of the companies, to be honest.
It's, well, to be fair, it's something that you would only really see in little quotes in the game, the manuals, and various press releases.
I only really played Wipeout Pure and the new one. No, not the new one. The newest one? Wipeout HD.
Wipeout HD is the last but one in the series.
Okay,
yeah. And there are actually still tournaments going on for Wipeout HD.
No, you know what? Actually, I have played Wipeout 64.
Oh god, you poor man.
Well, I didn't remember until I just now. So I must have blocked it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you.
I don't remember it being great.
No. Technically competent.
It looked nice.
And the fact that they were able to compress MP3 into a cartridge, as well as actually have loading times on a cartridge because of the music decompression. That's counts for something. Yeah. But actually, a theme of both this and the Classic League video for this week are going to be exploits and interesting physics, because we've already noticed that you can abuse bouncing in a number of ways in this video.
It's one of the benefits of anti-gravity.
Oh yeah. In fact, one thing I wasn't able to replicate, saw it in the first lap of the time trial, was that if you air brake just right, even without boost, you will literally bounce completely over that first turn in the chicane. But it's fucking hard to do consistently, to be honest. So don't rely on that. Use hyper boost instead. And I think, for the end of this final lap, we are actually going to see Hyper Boost for the first time in a while. Hyper Boost in Wipeout 3 replaces the turbo as main mechanic. It's the only game that does this. And what it does, you literally trade shields for turbo.
Something I probably wouldn't use myself, considering my propensity to crash into the walls.
Oh yeah. You're kind of lucky in that it always stops. You can't hyper boost when your shield is below 25%.
Oh.
Oh wait, no. I'd gotten the first person and hyper boost buttons confused again. It happens. But another feature that I found is only in this game in the series. Replay. As far as I'm aware, there are no action replays in the rest of the series.
Really? What about... Maybe I'm just misremembering. It's been years since I played Wipeout Pure. Weren't there some in here?
Not that I could see. Unfortunately.
Maybe I'm thinking of Gran Turismo or something.
Yeah.
Although why I would be confusing those two games, I have no idea.
They're both bloody excellent racing games.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So many similarities. They're both really good.
Yeah. And, God, I love the replay camera on this track. There's only a couple of tracks where the replay camera misses, but that... apart from the collision.
Going right through a billboard. Just another one of the fringe benefits of anti-gravity.
Oh, yeah.
Occasionally makes the vehicle immaterial.
But only when it comes to billboards.
I think I did see you in the last lap before the replay, clip right through the ground.
Yes. That actually, yeah, I think I actually destroyed that guy there. I'd have to go...
Man.
Well, That's Wipeout. They've got stupid safety features and ejection pods.
Cloning bats.
Them too, although we won't see any evidence of that until Fusion. A game which, as current thread discussion has proven, is not amazingly popular.
Right.
Yeah, one of the teams we're going to see in Fusion, they might actually be using clones.
Now that's the one that adds a proper story mode, right?
Sort of.
An arcade fighter story mode.
It's more along the lines of a completely linear tournament mode. Yeah, you unlock ships with the tournament mode, unlock upgrades, weapons, and yeah, that also didn't prove to be entirely popular.
I can imagine.
Because people liked their anti-gravity ships. And they didn't like, well, they especially didn't like what they turned into when they finally reached the highest upgrade tier. But we'll talk more of that when we get to Fusion.
Right.
But yeah, PMAR project, not quite bad enough that I would agree with Hellfire of Wipeout Zone putting it on his Circuits from Hell video. It's certainly no Silverstream, but then what is? But it's, as he says, quite a subtle track that you do actually have to slow down for. I am a bad example. Do not do what I do.
I think it's the cherry blossoms that really make this track.
Fuck
blowing
yes.
wistfully in the wind.
Yeah. I just realised. Never mind. We'll see you next time.